When somebody loves me. Welcome to our Archangels podcast. This is episode 7, maybe. Shout out to Sat Sang. Shout out. I had a small piece right here. I just rolled up because I didn't feel like grabbing my pack, but then I found my pack. So we don't have to talk about this. Welcome to the podcast.
Said it's time, and I know that without a doubt,
the spirit in us all is trying to break out. You know what I was just thinking about? Shout out to like the best song in Toy Story 2. Shout out to this song right here. This is how I feel. This is how I feel right now. This is me right now.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
I'm trying to run as fast as T-Mobile.
Well, you better pick it up.
Okay, I'll get YouTube
Emily was
Premium.
just the same. She was my whole world.
Sorry.
When somebody loved me,
This is me.
everything was beautiful. Every hour we spent together lives within my heart.
I gotta roll the actual joint.
And when she was sad, I was there to dry her tears. And when she was happy, so was I. When she loved me. Through the summer and the fall, we had each other, that was all. Just she and I together, like it was meant to be.
Like it was meant to be. You get the point. This song could make me cry.
And when she was lonely, I was there to comfort her. And I knew that she loved me.
Very, very, very sad. Okay. So this was When Somebody Loved Me. Why is Toy Story 2 so good? No way, I can't react to Toy Story 2 being good. Right? Come on, I'm doing some childhood Toy Story 2. There's gotta be someone that did like a psychoanalysis. A perfect sequel. Okay, this is not what I'm reacting to. We're gonna do Abraham. I can't type. We're gonna do some Bible study. But yeah, sorry, this is the Good AM podcast / Archangel podcast. I don't know yet. His entire life on a map. The oldest cities.
Abraham was born 4,000 years ago, here, in one of the oldest cities in history, Ur of Mesopotamia. According to the Bible, only a few hundred years had passed since the Great Flood, and Abraham's great-great-granddad, Noah, was coming to the end of his life. What most people don't realize about Abraham is that even though Noah probably taught him about God, the Bible says that he and his family worshipped Mesopotamian idols until one day something shocking happened. The God of Noah spoke, and told Abraham something very strange. Get out of your homeland, because not only am I going to give you new land and make a great nation out of you, but the entire world is going to be blessed because of you. We're going to see exactly what God meant by this strange promise in just a moment. But first, you gotta see what Abraham does next. By faith, he took his family and just left. He most likely would have taken this common trade route where he could make stops along the way until his family arrived here, the city of Haran, possibly named after Abraham's brother. Which reminds me, Abraham's dad Terah actually named him Abram at birth, but you'll see why it gets changed later. Abram actually stays here for years until his father dies.
Meditate on that. Talk to God about that. Okay. Oh no. You can see I'm sitting on not one blanket, not two blankets. Oh, no.
It's not until he's 75 years old that he, his wife Sarai, and his nephew Lot leave Haran, only to end up in a place with people who are so evil, God actually shows up in person to do the unthinkable. But first, they stop in the strange land of Shechem. This city was in Canaanite territory. Take a look at these altars excavated from a local Canaanite city. The Canaanites would do anything to appease their many gods, even if it meant sacrificing their own children. Abram's family was probably grateful that God had never asked him to sacrifice anybody. God was totally against this horrible ritual, right? Later, you'll see why God asks Abraham to do the unthinkable. But first, he traveled to Bethel, but he wasn't there long before a famine came over the land, forcing his family to travel all the way down to Egypt. Here, our man of faith tells his wife something I'm sure every woman would love to hear from her husband. My dear wife, you are so incredibly beautiful to look at, but you're a little too beautiful. Can you just tell people you're my sister so the Egyptian men don't kill me to get to you? Yikes. But he wasn't totally wrong. When one of the pharaohs in Egypt saw Sarai, he immediately wanted to know her, biblically. But before he could even touch her, God sent plagues to Pharaoh to warn him that she was married. So he kicked Abram and his family out of Egypt. But when they arrived back to Canaan, there was a problem. Abram's sheep and Lot's sheep had multiplied, and so had their herdsmen. In other words, there wasn't a whole lot of elbow room for the two families. So Abram came up with a solution. He told Lot to look around and pick any land he wanted. So of course, Lot and his family chose the plain of Jordan. The Bible says that at the time, this land was just as luscious as the Garden of Eden. There were even wealthy cities like Sodom and Gomorrah in this land that Lot and his family could stay in. I mean, tent camping is only fun for so long, right? Meanwhile, Abram set up camp in a place called Mamre and built an altar to God here. But get this, Abram's altar is still there to this day. I'm going to show you what this altar looks like today in just a moment. But first, I want you to know that I love making these videos, but they can take my team and I an insane amount of time to produce. So what can often happen is I forget to stick to a healthy diet. This is why I'm so happy I discovered AG1, and they're sponsoring today's video, which really helps us continue making content. This is how Shake You Stress again, a selling book where God be the back to the video. Take a look at this archaeological site found in what used to be the land of Canaan. Take a look at this archaeological site found in what used to be the land of Canaan. Archaeologist Joel Kramer, in his best-selling book, Where God Came Down, explains that this site had been preserved for thousands of years by Muslims, Christians, and Jews alike. But why would they do that? The answer lies at the very center of this entire site. The remains of an altar was found and dated to the time of, you guessed it, Abraham. But this site is so much more than just one of his campsites. You're going to see later that this is the place God physically came down and spoke to Abraham. But while Abram and his family were enjoying the peaceful countryside, things were not going so well for Lot. 4 kings from the east had come into the land of Canaan with one thing on their minds: stuff. And unfortunately, Lot and his family were living in cities that had a lot of cool stuff. So they attacked and raided the land, captured Lot, and made him their prisoner. Well, Uncle Abe wasn't too happy about this, so he turned his servants into soldiers and went on a mission to get his nephew back. Abram and his men were able to chase these kings away from Canaan and attack them at the city of Dan. But he didn't stop there. He continued to chase them past Damascus and retrieved Lot along with most of the cool stuff they had stolen. This allowed Lot to return with his family back to Sodom safely, or so he thought. Very soon, you'll see one of the most tragic stories to ever take place on this map. The Canaanite kings praised Abram for his bravery and bringing them back their stuff. But in the midst of these Canaanite kings was another king, the king of a city called Salem, which is later called Jerusalem. This king's name is Melchizedek, and he's probably the most mysterious.
I just got beet powder. Beet powder. Like pure red on green it's okay. It's actually not that serious. I have a magic eraser.
Person in the entire world. The Canaanite kings praised Abram for his bravery and bringing them back their stuff. But in the midst of these Canaanite kings was another king, the king of a city called Salem, which is later called Jerusalem. This king's name is Melchizedek, and he's probably the most mysterious person in the entire Bible. But before we look at the unique identity of this king, you need to hear what Melchizedek says to Abram. Blessed be God the Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hands. This explains how Abram was able to defeat 4 powerful kings with the help of just a few hundred shepherds. From the very beginning in Mesopotamia, Abram chose to have the faith to follow God. Just like God called Abram to follow him, God is calling you to have the faith to follow him too. The crazy part is that at this point in the story, Abram has yet to encounter his biggest test of faith by far. And what's even more crazy is it's going to happen near the same city King Melchizedek rules. You'll see why that's important in a moment. But now let's get back to our mystery man. Melchizedek is not like the other kings in Canaan who worship many gods. He's a priest of the one true God. A priest is someone who helps mediate the relationship between God and the people he's created. What's even more strange is Abram gives Melchizedek a tenth of all he owns. Why does he do that? Take a quick look at this verse in the book of Hebrews, and it is yet far more evident in the likeness of Melchizedek there arises another priest who has come not according to the law of a fleshly commandment, but according to the power of an endless life. The Bible is saying that our mystery man is a representation of Jesus Christ, who is the ultimate king and priest worthy of worship. Some scholars even argue that Melchizedek is an early appearance of Jesus Christ himself. After this great victory and blessing from this great king, Abram started to return home to Mamre. But there was something on his mind that had been bothering him since he left Ur years ago. Suddenly, God interrupted Abram's thoughts.
Yo. Big shout out to Ear to Hear. The entire life of Abraham on a map. Ear to Hear. Don't copyright strike me, please. Also, go watch their video, not mine.
And said, "Don't be afraid, Abram.
If you want.
I am your shield. Your reward will be very great." But Abram responded, "But who will I pass my reward to when I die? My wife Sarai still isn't able to have kids." What God told Abram must have absolutely shocked him. He told Abram to look up at the sky. Your descendants will be more numerous than all the stars you can see. But that wasn't the only promise God made to Abram. And to show how serious God was about this next promise, he cut multiple animals in half, as was customary in that culture when someone wanted to make a big promise. and God passed through the sacrificed animals to demonstrate that he was swearing by his own name. Then he put Abram to sleep and showed him the future. Abram's descendants would become slaves in a foreign land for 400 years, but God would punish that nation and bring Abram's descendants back into the land of Canaan. Then God made one of his biggest promises yet. He said that the land from the Nile River in Egypt all the way to the Euphrates River would all be given to Abram's descendants. Now that Abram had received such a massive promise, he must have told his barren wife, because she came up with an idea to help God out. Since she couldn't have kids, she asked Abram if he would be willing to have a child with her Egyptian maidservant, Hagar. Sarai thought maybe this way Abram and her could sort of have a child together. So Abram decided to take one for the team and do it. So brave. The result was Hagar's son Ishmael, and a whole lot of jealousy from Sarai, as you could imagine. But this wasn't God's plan. In fact, jealousy from Sarai, as you could imagine. But this wasn't God's plan. In fact, God told Abram that Sarai was going to have a son even though she was 90 years old. And it's at this point that Abram gets his name changed to Abraham, meaning father of a multitude. God even changed Sarai's name to Sarah, meaning princess. But before their promised son is born, one of the most insane stories in the entire Bible takes place. Remember Lot and his family living in the luxurious city of Sodom? Well, things are about to get pretty ugly in paradise. And it all starts with 3 men visiting Abraham at his campsite in Mamre. Except they're not men. 2 of them are angels, and get this, one of them is God himself. Even though they look like men, Abraham knows better. He bows before God and makes him and the angels the best cut of steak he has. Even though they look like men, Abraham knows better. He bows before God and makes him and the angels the best cut of steak he has.
Testing, testing, testing.
And they eat it. And though they look like men, Abraham knows better. He bows before God and makes him and the angels the best cut of steak he has. And they eat it. I guess God's not vegetarian. After they eat, God promises Abraham again that Sarah will have a son. Then the 2 angelic men dismiss themselves from the feast and begin to walk towards Sodom. Abraham's probably thinking, cool, my nephew Lot will get a chance to meet real angels. But God has some bad news to share with Abraham. The citizens of Sodom have hurt so many people. I have no choice but to destroy that evil city. Probably because he was concerned for his nephew, Abram tried to bargain with God. And as a result, God agreed to not destroy the city if there were 10 good people found in Sodom. With
He said name 10 good people.
this agreement in mind, God departed from Abram, good people found in Sodom. With this agreement in mind, God departed from Abram and made his way toward Lot. But meanwhile, a mob was forming in Sodom, around Lot's house. The people of Sodom wanted to hurt the angels who had just arrived at Lot's house, but Lot wouldn't let the people in. Instead, he does something so horrible. I believe it is one of the most depressing passages in the entire Bible. Lot offers his daughters to be hurt by the evil men of Sodom instead. This really shows just how depraved mankind can become. But God's angels didn't let it happen. They struck the angry mob with blindness, and by God's grace, pulled Lot and his family out of the city because God had just arrived and he wasn't happy with Sodom or her neighboring city Gomorrah. Lot and his family were allowed to flee to Zoar and were told to never look back. But as they do this, the Bible records one of the strangest verses in all of Scripture. Then the Lord rained fire and brimstone on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. This word, the Lord, in the original Hebrew is actually the name for God, Yahweh. So then how is it possible that Yahweh rains down fire from Yahweh? Us Christians know the answer. Even though God is one, he is revealed in more than one person. In this story, Yahweh in the flesh calls out to Yahweh in the heavens to bring judgment against these evil cities. This is why the idea of Jesus being 100% man and 100% God shouldn't have been so strange to the Jews when he arrived 2,000 years later. Because of God's judgment, no one ever lived in these cities again. Also, Lot's wife got turned into a pillar of salt because she looked back even though the angels told her not to. What's crazy is archaeologist Joel Kramer from Expedition Bible has identified the location of Sodom and Gomorrah today. What he found at these ancient sites was shocking. Balls of sulfur that were preserved from the time of Abraham. This is wild because the word brimstone in the Bible is just a fancy way of describing burning sulfur. No one knows where they came from, but they are extremely flammable. Experts believe these balls of fire were the reason for the destruction of the ancient city that used to be there. Seriously, Expedition Bible is my favorite YouTube channel. Man, it'd be so cool to meet Joel one day. Anyways, after all these years, Abraham received God's promised son from his wife Sarah. They were thrilled. But little did he know that he was about to face his biggest test of faith by far. This test would require more faith than he ever needed to say goodbye to his hometown in Ur, or even to chase away 4 imperial kings with just a few hundred shepherds. God told Abraham to take his son Isaac, who he loved so much, and offer him as a burnt offering to God. I can only imagine what Abraham was thinking. I know the Canaanites sacrificed their kids to their gods, but I thought my God was different. Didn't God promise that a great nation would come from my son Isaac? What's fascinating is that the Bible tells us that Abraham knew that God would never break his promises. So if God was asking him to sacrifice the son he said would become a great nation, then God was able to raise his son back to life. So Abraham got his son Isaac and took him to the place God told him to go, a mountain near the city of Salem where Melchizedek ruled, Mount Moriah. It's here that Abraham made an altar, and his beloved son Isaac willingly laid on it, waiting to be sacrificed. But just as Abraham was about to do the unthinkable, an angel showed up to stop him. Instead of sacrificing Isaac, God told Abraham to sacrifice a ram that had got caught in the bushes. Then the angel reminded Abraham of the promise God had made to him years ago back in Ur, that from Abraham's descendants, the entire world would be blessed. And 2,000 years later, guess who Abraham's great-great-great-grandson is? But what's even more amazing is that it is here, on the same exact mountain Isaac was ready to willingly lay down his life for his father, that God himself, in the person of Jesus Christ, would willingly lay down his life for my sins and yours, so that anyone who has faith in Jesus can have their sins washed away and receive eternal life. Abraham later died and was buried with his wife in Hebron, but his story of faith is an example for us to follow today. God is calling you to receive Jesus Christ and follow him on the greatest adventure of your entire life.
Amen.
Are you ready?
What he said.
The truth is, none of this story matters if God's promise wasn't fulfilled through the greatest man to ever live. And I've made an entire video of the entire life of Jesus Christ on a map, which you can view here.
The entire life. Okay, shout out to Ear to Hear, the entire life of Abraham on a map. Big shout out to bro. Isaiah 66 chapters. Oh, this is AI. I swear, if this is AI. Alright, that's...
Abraham was born 4,000 years ago, here, in one of the oldest cities in history, Ur.
That's actually crazy. What the heck, dude? View your channel. What the heck, dude? It says one watching. Is that one watching me? So really, there's 0 people watching. I'm the only person watching myself. This is Inception, podcast Inception, right here. Am I watching, or do I not count? Does this mean somebody's actually watching? Cause shout out. Am I watching, or I mean,
Him.
I sound dumb. Obviously, I'm watching it, but I'm not registering. I don't think. But what is Eerie Skies up to? What has bro been up to, real quick? This was big shout out to Eerie Skies. Before it meant something, go check out bro. I heard this actually. I'm about to get banned later. But I don't wanna. Oh wait, I don't gotta do that yet. My bad, Sean. Shout out to Sean. Just like you, Neil. What's good, brother? What's good, Jonathan? My leg. I don't even have Gmail. Gmail.com. Oh, it's not password. That's all it is.
What if you could taste the movies?
We turned that idea into an $11.3 million business with Wix. One movie night, we were craving this chocolate cake that we saw in
like those vocals. Therefore, since we have been justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. I wrote something to
Hey, buddy. It's been a minute.
There's only one Ozempic.
You know, I've always found it strange. People really want to save money, but are so willing to toss their hard-earned coin in.
I forgot this is here. I'm actually gonna type in my password right now. BandLab. What is my password though? Create account. We sent a code. I don't see a code. Oh, I found it. 149. Okay. Code is incorrect. What the heck, dude? Alright, I'm not gonna make my band lab. Frick band lab. For now. Alright. Did Abraham? Where was the Jesus one at? I wanna rap on that beat though. Statues is such a cool
Ben
idea.
here with my best friend Nora. Hey guys! These are the first
Shout out to Stoke.
It's gonna be good!
I don't believe there was a prime mover.
Raul, thank you for the computer. Shout out to Raul. This audio was from a debate between. Oh, okay. Alright. This audio clip is from a debate between atheist Arthur Christopher Hitchens and Oxford math professor John Lennox.
I don't believe there was a prime mover. I don't believe there was a first cause of a divine kind. I think we have better and further and brighter explanations for the origins of things than the idea of a supernatural. We are divided as between those of us who attribute our presence here to the laws of biology and the laws of physics, and those who are conceited enough, I would say, arrogant enough, in fact, to think that they are here as the consequence of a divine design. There's all the difference in the world between those two worldviews, and the big difference is one of them has evidence for it and the other doesn't. And one of them will say in advance what would refute it. I can tell you, if you ask me, what evidence, if presented, would mean I'd have to change my mind, and the theist will never do that. He will never tell you in advance, show me this and I'll stop believing in it. There's always an infinite replenishment of the infinitely renewable resource of faith. In fact, it's the humility of it that makes me laugh at it in a way the most. They say that they're humble, these believers in God.
Okay, I'm sorry. I am so sorry if I have a viewer. I don't have a viewer though. Right? Paul Gustimiano. Call Paul Gustimiano. He's my coach. How do I go to my viewers? Do I have a viewer? How do I... Do I have a viewer? Alright, I can't actually tell. I don't know how to tell. Alright, but what was I gonna do? Oh yeah. So my dad liked Jimi Hendrix. Is there such thing as a Jimi Hendrix? I know there is. I just haven't seen it in so long. Where's it at?
Can we deduct our kids' braces?
I do not.
What do you like to hear if somebody comes up after a concert? What kind of compliment do you like?
I don't know. I don't really live on compliments. Matter of fact, it has a way of distracting me. And a whole lot of other musicians and artists that are out there today, you know, they hear all these...
My dad liked Jimi Hendrix. But why am I watching Jimi Hendrix? I don't know. Billy Graham. Why does that sound so familiar? Who's Billy Graham? Oh my god.
The Joe Rogan
What is Joe Rogan up to? Eddie Bravo's back. Eddie Bravo's back. Oh my goodness. Suspicious celebrity death. Definitely want to hear Eddie Bravo's questions about the Iran conflict.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
But then the other side of that is like Joe said. I'm sitting there watching a fight, and all of a sudden I get hit with an Iranian missile. You're having a great fucking time. You know? You're having a great time. You got the maracas out. You're going to hang out with Melania, and all of a sudden, boom, there you are. You're done.
Done.
The whole leadership's fucked.
I gotta make a new podcast. I gotta make. How long have I been going? 42 minutes. I'll keep it going. It's been a cool podcast, but
for some reason, Bruce Buffer
deserves its own.
Lives. He lives like him in the suit. That's it. Everybody else is gone.
God bless. Seriously. I cannot believe Joey Diaz is still alive.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
But then the other side of that is like Joe said. I'm sitting there watching a fight, and all of a sudden I get hit with an Iranian missile. You're having a great fucking time. You know? You're having a great time. You got the maracas out. You're going to hang out with Melania, and all of a sudden, boom, there you are. You're done.
Done.
The whole leadership's fucked. For some reason, Bruce Buffer lives. He lives like him in the suit. That's it. Everybody else is gone. So that's the other thing. I don't know if I want to even be in that area.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to Hong Kong that weekend.
Yeah. It's so crazy about the Iran situation. It's like you hear one side of the story is we fucked their military up and they can't do shit. They're decimated. And then the other side is like, no, they're not. They're fucking the shit out of Tel Aviv. They're bombing the shit out of Tel Aviv. They're fucking us up. We're losing.
But Trump just came out and said he's like, it's almost over.
They want to tell you.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on?
It's like they'll show you Austin Airport. People crawling.
Holy crap. What's going on? What's going on, Eddie Bravo?
And they're online. You haven't eaten.
TSA, yeah.
Then you fly in and you're like,
there's no wait. Yeah, I agree.
CNN is called scaring poor white people.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to switch the camera.
That's all CNN is.
Yeah.
Show Joey.
And you put CNN at 3 in the morning, they're not talking about nothing positive. It's gentlemen arguing about politics at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So you wake up, those fucking people, because now everybody considers like, well, he's an Islam radicalist or whatever the fuck they call it. You know, like you could get radical. Listen, we have a lot of crazy people that are radicalized, but I got friends I went to grammar school with. And these motherfuckers get up at 8 and start pounding Democrats on Facebook. There's no reason. Look at these fucking morons. It's 8 in the fucking morning, guys.
Yeah.
It's 8 in the morning. You're already fucking Democrat.
This is important. How many views are they getting? 500,000 views. He's still alive. Joe Rogan, that is.
You give it a breather. Take a morning off. How is your day gonna be better? So Americans are getting radicalized the same way with CNN, the other thing. We got constant.
But we're not blowing people up.
Not yet. But I've told you 1,000 fucking
But we
times.
celebrate when people get shot.
Yeah, we love all this
like
shit.
when we do before, right? But humans do. Imagine a world where a guy who never hurt anybody gets shot in the neck on TV in front of everybody, and people are cheering. And people are posting about it. That makes zero sense.
That makes
That's
zero
never happened before. No. Because you're right, Joey. People have been radicalized.
Radicalized, yeah.
And also
Americans
radicalized have no empathy.
It does make zero sense. Maybe it has something to do with you, Joe Rogan.
Because social media doesn't, you don't have to have it. You can just.
What side do you think is true? Trump decimated everybody, like he's saying, we just destroyed them. They don't have shit. But then there's other people saying that's bullshit. Iran's bombing the shit out of Tel Aviv, and they won't let you videotape it. They're taking it. If you videotape the destruction in Tel Aviv, you'll get arrested. Like, what?
I'm sure there's some truth to that.
There's like two.
I'm sure there's some truth to that, but they've blown the shit out of a lot of sites, and the amount of missiles has radically reduced. So the indication by even Al Jazeera said a thing that the strategy is working for Trump. The problem is they have that Strait of Hormuz. It's all closed down.
Yeah.
I mean, if they go to war, like a physical hot war in the Strait of Hormuz with fucking rockets
you think we'll go
airplanes,
with boots on the ground? You think that's going to happen?
That's what they're saying.
Dude, nobody's going to be
But
in
who's
favor
they?
for that.
I don't know if that's necessary. It seems like they keep killing, especially the Israelis. They're so good at finding those guys and killing them.
Oh my goodness. Alright, let's keep it going. Oh. Joey. You don't have to be on air anymore, Joey. You don't have to keep coming on Rogan. It's done for if you want it to be. Joey.
So the indication by even Al Jazeera said a thing that the strategy is working for Trump. The problem is they have that Strait of Hormuz. It's all closed down.
Yeah.
I mean, if they go to war, like a physical hot war in the Strait of Hormuz with fucking rockets
You think we'll go with
airplanes,
boots on the ground? You think that's going to happen?
That's what they're saying.
Dude, nobody's going to be
But
in
who's
favor
they?
for that.
I don't know if that's necessary. It seems like they keep killing, especially the Israelis. They're so good at finding those guys and killing them. Everybody that gets into power gets killed. That you can only, thank you, Jamie. You can only sustain that for so long.
Trump said it's almost over. Even real? Is that even real?
Idea.
Like when they
whiskey to Eddie Bravo.
You know,
Good day.
you know what I'm talking about?
Al Jazeera.
What's that, Eddie?
It's like the reports that you hear. Like, how do you even know any of it's real? Like,
you don't know. Not
they killed his son. They didn't kill his son. It's
Well,
AI.
how about the AI videos of Benjamin Netanyahu?
Yeah.
And people are saying, he's dead, and everyone's saying, no, he's alive.
Those AI videos are so fucking good, though.
They're not that good. They look like a beauty filter. It doesn't look like a real person.
And he's not, the coffee's not spilling.
Yeah.
And then when he puts his hand in the pocket, when they show that, the pocket it goes over the hand.
So does that mean he's dead?
It's weird.
No, it doesn't mean
Maybe
that.
he's alive, but they're just fucking with people.
They could be. They play like long game.
Yeah.
Israel does.
Yeah.
They could be fucking with people just so that people think he's dead.
Yeah.
That could be a strategy.
Because wasn't the beeper thing like a fucking 5-year project?
It's crazy, bro.
Eddie Bravo's still alive. Joey Diaz is still alive.
Thing I ever heard of.
Amazing.
Great.
Amazing. If I was Israeli, I'd be like, yo, dog, where the shit?
We convinced them to get beepers.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. You just need a concept and a way to record it. Here's how it works. First, go to riverside.fm and open an account, and then you'll be able to capture high-quality video and audio from practically anywhere in the world. When it comes to editing, Riverside is perfect for beginners.
Listen, there's a bunch of things are true at the same time. The Iranian regime is horrible.
Yes.
They just executed that wrestler,
I
that
know.
really elite, high-level teenage wrestler. They said he was at a protest. Most people are saying, at least some people are saying, that he wasn't at a protest. What is this, Jamie?
The golden beeper gift that Netanyahu gave to Trump.
That's hilarious. He
Jesus.
gave him a beeper. That's pretty gangster. That's right up there with the auto pen picture replacing Biden's picture.
That's wild.
That's pretty crazy.
That's crazy.
Do you think Iran has the capability to level Israel?
There's a new.
Alright. The only logical place to go from here is Paul, because Miles is my coach.
My master, because my mentor, he was throwing punches, he was throwing combinations. And the art of punches is when you can throw two punches that sound like one. He was throwing punches. You can hear them. They were two, but they sound like one punch. You know how magnificent your speed have to be for that? Listen, I'm a student of war. I know all the warriors from Charlemagne, Achilles, the #1 warrior of all warriors. From then, Alexander, Napoleon, I know them all. I read them all. I studied them all.
The only logical place to go from there is here. What the hell? What the heck is this? Nicola. I don't need a whole documentary. Whoa. He said if you understand 369, you'll understand the whole key to the whole universe. Limitless energy. Limitless energy. AI is taking over. You had a rap battle with Thomas Edison?
Thomas Edison! Was it Nikola Tesla? We're going to step up. You'll be shocked when I spit and start static. I'll rip your style and add it to my long list of patents. While you were busy digging ditches and burning bridges, I'm pumping out inventions, stacking riches. So go back to your pigeons. You're a geek, plagued by OCD. You never had sex, but you sure got screwed by me. I crushed you, Tesla. There's just no putting it gently. I don't alternate my flow. I diss you directly.
I see a universe of infinite energy, but no potential for threat from this enemy. So you can call me Tesla, Nikola, impeccably dressed, giving lessons in electrical nemesis. This will be on the test, so confess to your thefts and let the whole world know what the Serbian did for the wizard of Menlo. History is getting rewritten, and I have read your best invention was a word to steal credit.
The truth hurts, you're broke and washed up. Don't give a smidgen about your visions. If they can't make a buck, I conduct business. Understood, things you never could. So dope that I even make New Jersey look good. I'm on the record, I invented. You got duped there, I said it. Now bet you $50,000 that you'll never forget it. Without me, here's a taste of what this battle would be. No lights, no camera, no sound. See?
You fool, you think that you can touch me with this? You couldn't handle my gifts with your greedy little mind. What's inside mine was ahead of its own time. You did not steal from me, you stole me from mankind. It's a wireless transmission of truth, and it's a shocking real story of a banker with you. And if the people knew you stopped me from making power free, they would curse the Con Edison with every utility.
Whole war!
Tesla. Tesla one.
You just died! Knew you stopped me from making power free, they would curse the Con Edison with every utility.
Whole war! You just died!
my master, my mentor. He was throwing punches. He was throwing combinations. And the art of punches is when you can throw two punches that sound like one. He was throwing punches. You can hear them. They were two, but they sound like one punch. You know how magnificent your speed has to be for that?
We're gonna take a smoke break.
If you're traveling to be surrounded by nature, don't end up surrounded.
I'll talk about it later. Just kidding. I hope everyone's having a really good night. This is the Good AM podcast. But really now, the new name is
Rod girl and whiskey's gonna ease my mind.
the Archangel podcast.
Beach towel dress on the drying line. Do I remind you of your daddy in his 88 Ford?
Cut that song. What song even do I play?
Labrador hanging out the passenger door. The sand from your hair is blowing in my eyes. Blame it on the beach, grown men don't cry. Do you remember that beat down basement couch? I'd sing you my love songs and you'd tell me about how your mama ran off and pawned her ring. I remember everything. A cold shoulder at closing time, you were begging me to stay till the sun rose. Strange words come on out of a grown man's mouth when his mind's broke. Pictures in passing time, you only smile like that when you're drinking. I wish I didn't, but I do. Remember every moment on the nights with you.
You're drinking everything to ease your mind. But when the hell are you gonna ease mine? You're like concrete feet in the summer heat. It burns like hell when two souls meet. No, you'll never be the man that you always swore. But I remember you singing in that 88 Ford. The cold shoulder closing time.
This has been a smoke break.
You were begging me to stay till the sun rose. Strange words come on out of a grown man's mouth when his mind's broke. Pictures in passing time, you only smile like that when you're drinking. I wish I didn't, but I do. Remember every moment on the nights with you.
Cold shoulder closing time, you were begging me to stay till the sun rose. Strange words come on out of a grown man's mouth when his mind's broke. Pictures in passing time, you only smile like that when you're drinking. I wish I didn't, but I do. Remember every moment on the nights with you. Rod good whiskey's gonna ease my mind. Beach towel dress on the drying line. Do I remind you of your daddy in my 88 Ford? Labrador hanging out the passenger door.
That was a smoke break brought to you. We were supposed to smoke it. Whoa. Jesus Christ, 2 hours.
Built custom industrial machines in days.
Nikola Tesla, famed and mysterious scientist, inventor and proponent of the AC current system, the Tesla coil, and some believe the inventor of the death ray and free electricity for all. Nikola Tesla was born in the Austrian Empire in 1856 in what is Croatia today. His father was an Orthodox priest who wanted his son to enter the same profession, but Nikola was only interested in science. His mother invented labor-saving devices in her spare time, and Tesla credited her as being the source of his inventiveness. Around the age of 17, he fell ill and was in bed for 9 months. His father promised to send him to the best science education if he recovered from the illness. He excelled in his first year at the Austrian Polytechnic in Graz, earning the highest grades possible. He was fascinated by the mysterious phenomena of electricity in his classes and wanted to know more of this wonderful force. He worked incredibly hard, barely sleeping, a trait that he was to keep throughout his life. His teachers even wrote to Tesla's family, warning that he could die from overwork. In subsequent years, though, he lost his scholarship and became addicted to gambling, losing his entire allowance. Poor financial management was another trait that would hound Tesla in his later years. When it came time for his exams, Tesla was unprepared. He asked for more time, but it was refused. So he dropped out of his studies and never graduated. Tesla got himself back on his feet after a few years and started work at the Budapest Telephone Exchange as chief electrician, where he invented and perfected a telephone amplifier. He then went to work for the Continental Edison Company in Paris. There he was working on a new innovation, electric lighting. His skills got him noticed, and soon he found himself heading to New York to work for Edison. In New York, he was assigned to improving and repairing generators. After fixing the generators of the SS Oregon all throughout the night, he happened to run into Edison. Edison joked, "I see our Parisian has been out all night." Tesla explained that he'd been working on the repairs for the SS Oregon, at which point Edison conceded to his colleague, "This is a damn good man." Tesla started working on an arc lighting system for Edison, but it was never implemented. He left their employment shortly afterwards. There was talk of unpaid bonuses and disparaging remarks from Edison. Tesla marked his departure by scribbling across 2 pages of his diary, "Goodbye to the Edison Machine Works." Tesla founded his own company, Tesla Electric Light and Manufacturing, and established a number of patents. Even though it had the Tesla name, the reality was that the company was financed by 2 businessmen. When they decided to abandon manufacture and set up a new company, it left Tesla destitute and penniless. During 1886, he had to work as a ditch digger just to survive. He wrote at the time, "My high education in various branches of science, mechanics, and literature seemed to me like a mockery." However, Tesla soon got himself back on his feet with the invention of a new motor that ran on alternating current, or AC, which was eventually bought by Westinghouse. Tesla was a champion of AC and was hired by
Hey, AC, that's my initials.
Westinghouse for $2,000 per month and given a hefty bonus. Westinghouse Electric Company was founded by George Westinghouse and based their technology on AC. In the late 1880s and early 1890s, a fierce commercial battle was going on between Edison and Westinghouse. Known as the Battle of the Currents, many unsavory publicity stunts were made by Edison trying to prove that AC was unsafe. But we'll not confront that particular elephant in the room for now. Tesla became very wealthy and now had enough money to fund his own research, hiring staff and opening workshops. This was the golden age of Tesla's inventiveness. In 1891, at the age of 35, he became a US citizen. That same year, he patented the Tesla coil. He experimented with a system of wireless lighting, giving several public demonstrations, but he never received commercial backing for the project. At one demonstration, he told onlookers that a system like this could transmit intelligible signals or power to any distance without the use of wires. The thought that wireless power could encompass the globe was an idea that Tesla devoted much time and research to. he started research on wireless telegraphy and in his laboratory observed strange signals, which he thought came from another planet. He wrote to the press in 1899 and 1890, and an article was published entitled Talking with Planets. More recently, speculators think he may have unintentionally picked up signals from Marconi's experiments that were happening around the same time. Tesla threw his money into the wireless telegraphy research and borrowed heavily from JP Morgan. However, Marconi's radio-based system, which Tesla thought was in part copied from his designs, was the first to transmit a message across the Atlantic. After that, investors preferred Marconi's system, which left Tesla once again without funds. In 1906, it speculated Tesla had a nervous breakdown. From 1900, Tesla had lived in the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. In 1922, he moved to the St. Regis Hotel, leaving his Waldorf Astoria bill unpaid. After that, he moved from hotel to hotel, leaving his bills unpaid. He liked feeding the pigeons from the windows of his hotel room. Despite issues with money, he spent over $2,000 building a device to heal the bones of a sick pigeon. He said, "There was one, a beautiful bird, pure white with light gray tips on its wings. It was a female. I had only to wish and call her and she would come flying to me. I loved that pigeon as a man loves a woman, and she loved me. As long as I had her, there was a purpose to my life." Tesla never married, explaining that it would get in the way of his scientific abilities. When Tesla was 75, he was friends with a young science fiction writer called Kenneth Swayze, who organized regular birthday parties for Tesla. The press would be invited. At one party, Tesla announced that he had invented a motor that ran on cosmic rays that would run for 500 years, and a machine to photograph thoughts. He also announced that he had invented a peace ray, which he called Teleforce, that could bring down 10,000 airplanes at 200 miles distance. When later questioned on his experiments, he replied, "But it is not an experiment. I have built, demonstrated, and used it. Only a little time will pass before I can give it to the world." Nikola Tesla died alone in his hotel room in 1943 at the age of 86, and his ashes are displayed in a gold-plated sphere in the Nikola Tesla Museum. 2 days after Tesla's death, the FBI ordered the seizure of his belongings. An MIT professor, John Trump, analyzed the items. He reported after 3 days' deliberation that there was nothing that would constitute a hazard in unfriendly hands.
They did not talk about the elephant. Alright, but that's it. I'm gonna make some waffles and some eggs. Where's my podcast at? Peace, peace, peace. Oh, my bandana was crooked this whole time. Your bandana. No, but peace, love, soul. God bless anyone that tapped in. Bye. Have a good time. I'm gonna go live, maybe in a little bit. But yeah, I'm about to eat some eggs and waffles, or at least some waffles. Peace. Have a beautiful day. God bless anyone that tapped in. One who's tapped in is more powerful than millions who are not. Bye. Have a good time.